Welcome to I Am Luminescence. This is yours truly. Welcome back where astrology meets intuition. And today I'm going to go through what is Saturn return. Okay, what is that? What does it mean? All right, get ready.
And I see it's gone to some astrology. Well, baby, I can see your face.
All right, so let's get into it. What is Saturn return? It's a major astrological milestone that takes place between 27 and 30, 57 and or 56 and 60, and a third if you're lucky, 87 and 90. So this phase is really crucial for personal growth, responsibility, Saturn, and transformation. Right. Saturn's role in our astrology, or energetically speaking, is to be the karmic teacher. Okay. Saturn rules the 3D. So when we have Saturn in our chart and we look at where it sits, in our chart, what sign it's in, it's giving us specific instructions on how Saturn's role is going to play out in delivering lessons when it comes to discipline, structure, and maturity. So let's take a deep dive right now. I will get into all the signs. So if you are here and during this recording, you're going through your Saturn return, I got you, right? So, what Saturn represents in astrology? Again, discipline, responsibility, time, karma, and mastery. You're mastering yourself. That's why it takes 28 to 30 years for it to have a full evolution. It also signifies test, delays. Okay, feeling like you're a late bloomer, you're behind, and challenges that force you to grow because you're being kind of cornered and you're trying to figure out a way to get out of something. Those are moments where you're being forced to grow from the experience and just meet your challenges head on. So the reason why Saturn returns feels so intense is because it's marking the end of one chapter and beginning of a new chapter. Okay, Saturn in the tarot deck is the World card. So one life is ending and a new life is beginning. So it forces us to face fears and any issues we may have with commitment because we are being put on the timeline to commit to whatever our soul's path is asking of us in that moment, and we need to say yes. So how do you work with Saturn instead of trying to fight or resist the Saturn return? Embrace the structures and the long-term goals that are being put before you. Your life is going to be put in a position where you have to change and evolve, and these are the things you must do step by step. You can't skip over anything because Saturn's going to bring you back to step one. You need to let go of what no longer is serving you because it's not part of your journey. It's not part of your experience anymore. And the longer we try to hold on to it and make it part of our identity or part of our life, the worst is going to feel until you let go. This is also a period where you need to start being the leader in your life, being more self sufficient, okay, especially during the first Saturn return. So, what happens during the Saturn return exactly? Well, some common Saturn return themes are you could have a shift in your career or some major life changes that have to take place. There could be a change in your relationships, whether that's you getting married, getting divorced, going through a major breakup, or you're starting to redefine how you look at love altogether. Your finances can be called to the carpet. You may have to, realize that you have a load of debt you need to take care of. You need to start creating a savings account. You need to start being smarter with your money and looking to see what can you invest in to triple your income, your money in savings that you already have, right? This can also include some identity shifts because up until especially during the first return, up until you're pushing 30, you've been living a lifestyle that has basically been set up for you to live. And each time we go through a Saturn return, that past life is being knocked down so a new life can emerge. So it's very can be related to identity crisis, like going around the 60-year-old mark. A lot of people can face identity crisis or what they call midlife crisis because you're starting to figure out who you truly are versus what people expect you to be. And sometimes you can be a bit of a rebel and try to hang on to that old you that you used to be, even though Saturn is telling you that's not who you are anymore. This is who you're supposed to be. This is your soul's journey. So you need to get on with it. All right. Another thing that can come up is health and well-being, learning some better self-care routines and having more discipline when it comes to taking care of yourself. Again, self-sufficiency. Okay, you cannot slack or be lazy when it comes to taking care of yourself. You only get one body, so take very good care of it. You cannot blame your age and other things on why you feel broke down. It's you not being responsible for keeping up the maintenance of your body and your mental. How the house placements affect Saturn return. For example, Saturn return in the first is different from your Saturn return in the seventh house. Because you already have Saturn in the house, it's going to reemerge those themes that are no longer serving you. That's related to the structure of that house. For example, Saturn in the first house, this is about how you see yourself, how your personality, your physical body as well, how you appear to others. With Saturn going through a return in this first house, you could honestly feel like no one understands you. You're clashing a lot more with people than you normally do. You could feel like your physical body is changing, or you could become pregnant or something. Saturn does rule the bone structure, so you could have something going on with your ailment going on with your body, or you can feel a bit more muscle soreness than you normally do from regular, the rigmarole. When people hit 30, they're like, okay, everybody 30 and up, what's hurting on you today? Like that type of shit. Could feel a bit more like you need to suppress, or you feel a little bit more introverted in your personality more than you used to be. Or you might be the opposite, where you're at a point now where you're tired of being introverted, and you want to start being more expressive with your personality. All that can happen when Saturn's in the first house returning, versus the seventh house return, where there could be a whole review when it comes to relationships and how you view relationships, like foundationally speaking. So with the foundation of your relationships changing with Saturn returning in your seventh house, that can actually open the way for you to experience a marriage or experience a divorce or experience seeing relationships with your family, friends, business partners, platonic relationships or romantic. They all kind of go through a checkpoint to see if you're still aligned with that energy or if you're not aligning with that energy anymore. And sometimes it's the relationships that we held on to for the longest during a Saturn return in the seventh house that may need to get the axe, and it can make it truly, truly difficult to let go. But when you do, you start to realize that there's more than life, or there's more people that will come into your life to replace those relationships the sooner you release them. All right, so let's go through the Saturn returns in all 12 signs, starting with Aries, which will be coming up soon. When you have a Saturn in Aries, this is about lessons when it comes to leadership, independence. I also see this too. Saturn in Aries is you learning how to control your anger and aggression. This also talks about facing fears, self assertion, learning patience, creating a long term strategy plan. Aries is very quick and right now. So, the challenge with this square or the super square challenging energy with Saturn and Aries is to create a strategy that you can hold on to for at least 30 years. Becoming a confident leader and not having to shoulder any arrogance in how you lead others. Okay, that is for Saturn Aries. Saturn in Taurus. This is lessons in stability and financial responsibility. So this is you learning how to manage your money wisely, breaking free from comfort zones, defining your self-worth beyond material success. Okay, this allows you to no longer identify yourself according to your career or what you wear or what you look like. This is about understanding your time and wealth. Your true wealth going to be based on what you spend your time doing and how you feel about it, and not equating yourself to material success will actually free you, which will allow more money to come through. And when that money starts to come through, faster, or, more money starts to come through, you want to be able to regulate, or for Taurus, you want to be able to delegate how that money is going to stack up in your life and how you can invest it wisely versus just frivolously spending it on, things that you desire that don't really last long or is actually worth the dime. Saturn in Gemini. Okay, this is lessons in communication, mental discipline. This is overcoming your fear of speaking, especially public speaking or teaching, sharing information with other people. Committing yourself to education or a knowledge based career. So you could want to go into fields where it requires you to communicate a lot more. Maybe small groups of people, like kindergarten teacher, or doing group studies and things of that nature, as well as learning how to balance between logic and intuition. All right, because Gemini energy is about duality, learning how to make good choices with both your intuition as well as your logic and not choosing one over the other. Saturn in Cancer, this is about lessons in emotional security and family healing. Okay, this is an opposing energy where it requires a lot of balance. So, this is you facing some childhood wounds as well as ancestral healing. You may have gone through a lot of things when you were younger that may be like an ancestral pattern that needs to be broken, and you're the person that have the opportunity to break those old patterns. This is also opportunity to build a secure home life and emotional resilience. So you may have had a unsteady or unstable childhood when it comes to wherever you lived, or you lived in a neighborhood that was not very emotionally secure. Even if it was lavish and, luxurious, you may have still felt an unstable emotional center when it comes to your family and home. So it gives you a chance to face that as well. And also, biggie, learning how to nurture yourself without depending on other people. So your mother could have been, or a father, or whoever was your caretaker, may be heavily involved in your life, and your Saturn return is now allowing you to break off of that. And the next Saturn return will show you where those things may be coming up again, and you may need to break off from being codependent on something or someone else because your life is going through a shift. And emotionally, you want to lean on someone when honestly you have all the strength you need to lean on yourself and your God of your understanding. Saturn in Leo, this is lesson in authenticity as well as confidence. All right, this is you stepping into personal power and self expression, which is what Leo is all about, expression of the self coming from the heart space, letting go of ego driven fears. Okay, choosing not to do something because you're afraid of how it may look to other people, your audience, and no longer seeking validation from an audience, but choosing to do what's right because you know is truly what you want to do. All right. Also, mastering creativity and leadership. Leo is a natural leader energy. Okay. So you want to be a good leader by mastering your creativity. It may not be you being a fashion designer or a singer or something like that, but it could be. But it can also be you expressing your creativity by problem solving. Virgo second house, okay? Saturn in Virgo, the isolation card. This is about lessons in perfectionism and service orientation. So, and it's also, Virgo also represents the workforce. So, you could gain a position where you have to oversee a workforce, or you're graduating into, being put into a different workforce that is part of the service industry of your choosing. This is also learning to accept imperfections, learning that perfectionism itself is an illusion that can never be attained. You just have to put it in your mental, Virgo. Saturn, that it's already perfect as is, so you're not chasing a carrot on a stick. This is also Saturn Virgo, a way to master your life work balance and put more self care. Virgo is about health and making sure you stay healthy by the routines that you create. And also about finding your purpose in service and organization. Like I was saying before, your career may shift, where you might go from being a crew member to an assistant manager or a crew member to a general manager. It all depends on your lifestyle and what works best for you. But you could be putting yourself in a position to rank higher than most because you're a dutiful worker, but you want to watch out again for looking for everything that's wrong instead of paying attention to what's right. Saturn and Libra, lessons in relationships and balance. Okay, this is definitely like the seventh house, where you could come into relationships. Relationships can be broken up. You can be getting married, or you can seek divorce. But this is about learning how to build a mature, long lasting, equal partnership. This is also including you setting healthy boundaries in all relationships so that you're not doing more for others than you are for yourself. And Libra energy kind of struggles with people pleasing, which is a form of manipulation, as quiet as it's kept. Making major decisions about marriage or divorce is also a big thing for Saturn and Libra. And Saturn and Libra is exalted, so it's very easy for you to give into relationships during your Saturn return, but you end up learning very essential lessons to the relationships you should not be pouring more into and you need to be pulling back from. Right? Saturn and Scorpio. This is lessons in power and deep transformation. This is also a Saturn return or a Saturn transit that deals heavily with being able to practice abstinence or abstinence rather, because once you get it in, celibacy kind of out the window. But this is a good a Saturn placement to practice abstinence for a long time, like seeing how much you can hold that energy. It allows you to, during the Saturn return, to face control issues or fears of being vulnerable, fears of being able to express your intimacy, because Scorpio energy has an issue with being vulnerable because they don't want it to be used against them to hurt them later on. And that kind of fear, it has the ability to make you kind of paranoid. So, and you never end up entering a relationship with fully expressing yourself. Major transformations. Okay, this is also a transit where you go after rebirth, 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 rebirth after every crisis. But the thing about the Saturn and Scorpio is that you go through the crisis, you have your rebirth, and then you come out renewed, anew, Phoenix energy. And this is also Saturn and Scorpio about learning to trust and develop a deep emotional healing. Being able to be a safe space emotionally for yourself will allow you to extend that grace to other people, whether they're trying to attack you or not. You're at such peace with yourself that you know that your vulnerability or your ability to control the situation has its limitations, because that's what Saturn is. It's the limits, and no one can control you or manipulate you. You don't have to be dark and manipulative to get what you want. You can, high frequency Scorpio energy. You can just be vulnerable and allow the chips land where they may. All right. Saturn and Sagittarius, this is lessons in expansion and truth. All right. This is us being able to shift our worldviews and develop a beautiful spiritual growth that will take place. This is committed to higher education, travel, long distance travel, because this is us changing our perception of the world, which in turn changes our perception of ourselves, and personal philosophy. Okay, religion, spiritual systems can be changed. You may go from believing in one belief system to identifying with another. All right, and this is also learning freedom within discipline. Okay, Saturn Capricorn, which I have natally. This is lessons in career and long term success, being consistent and what that means. Okay, consistency, what I learned, isn't doing the exact same thing every single day. Consistency is continuing to show up and give all you have. This is about mastering responsibility, ambition, and leadership, as well as learning to pace yourself so you can have long term success and overcoming self doubt and fear of failure. Um, this is a domicile placement. So, Saturn Capricorn, if you have this placement, you can extremely be so hard on yourself about feeling like you're behind and you need to catch up, or things are just completely out of control and you just want to give up, like that, those feelings do come up. But then you have to, tap into the opposite energy, the Cancer energy, and nurture yourself and let yourself know everything is going to be fine. Just continue to show up and be responsible, do the best that you can do, and see the change unfold. Saturn in Aquarius, this is lessons in individuality and society, because Aquarius is the humanitarian. This is finding balance between being a rebel and being responsible. Aquarius native have the ability to rock some shit. So trying to find a balance between completely rebel against someone or something or a structure, and then being responsible at the same time. And that can be kind of topsy-turvy, because sometimes when you're going through a return, you kind of don't know what to rebel against and what to keep responsibility on. But more than likely, you want to bring in new energy during your Saturn return, and your newer energy that is going to bring you that long-term success is what you want to be responsible for, and be rebellious towards the groups of people who are trying to take you back to who you used to be, because you're not that person anymore. This is you learning to embrace your unique talents, which is about serving humanity as a whole, and then overcoming those fears in serving humanity, where you feel like people are not going to understand you, or you have a fear of being in the spotlight because you're going to be serving people, so people are going to start to notice you a little bit more. Tap into that Leo frequency, that opposite energy, where you can allow yourself to stand in the spotlight and not let it change you or let it affect you for the worse, and allow it to affect you for the best, because you get to shine that light on whatever cause you are here to create. All right. And last but not least, Saturn in Pisces, which is during this recording, what's going on right now. We're about halfway through. Saturn in Pisces lessons is about spirituality and boundaries. Okay, learning to ground your dreams into reality, overcoming escapism or emotional confusion, as well as any hard drugs, or and that's going back into escapism, getting over hard drugs, finding natural ways to release yourself to the one all energy and come back to yourself. All right. And emotional confusion really has to do with creating boundaries between you and everything outside of you, so you know what's you and what's not. This may include needing to be more isolated in order to be able to determine, energetically speaking, what is you and what is not you. This is about mastering your faith, surrendering to the most high frequency, and tuning deeper into your intuition. So, how do you navigate your Saturn return? Well, you want to take responsibility for everything that's happened, whether you knew it was the right or wrong choice to make in the beginning or not. That will seal your fate in being successful with Saturn. Okay. Embrace the changes, commit to the long term goals that you have. All right. Avoid reality, like being overly realistic about stuff, being pessimistic. Avoid those habits. Don't cling on to any old habits. Do your best to overcome um the story that you've been talking or telling yourself in your mind. And some of those stories in your mind may have been developed from a young age, where people are telling you who they want you to be, how they want you to be, where they want you to be or be like. Like, you have to override that software system and develop a new one for yourself, which is what subliminal messages come in handy for. And you also want to get rid of being afraid of responsibility. The more responsibility you have, the more you have to do, the more you have to give, the longer your life will be. All right. So some practical ways you can work with Saturn and her beautifulness. Create a structured plan for your future. Anytime you know you have a goal you want to reach, create a structured plan. Break it down into bite-sized pieces and just take it one baby step at a time. Look to mentors or Saturn and wisdom to help you in situations where you feel like you're kind of stuck and you don't know which way to go. Seek someone who has mastered what it is you're trying to do, or use your wisdom from the lessons you've already learned to tell you what the pattern is and how you're able to break out of it. Use Saturn friendly tools such as meditation, isolation, black crystals to transmute negative energy into positive energy, and to create some astrology rituals like moon rituals to help you, set new goals and release old worn out energy. All right. So some astrological remedies and rituals to ease the Saturn return. Honor Saturn through discipline and structure. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Keep your integrity intact. Okay. Stand on your 10. When it comes to Saturn, you'll be rewarded for seeing things through, and you will feel the reward within yourself. You will feel happy. You will feel experience a joy or a release of emotion that you did exactly what you set out to do. You accomplished it, and you'll understand better in life that it's always about the journey. It's never about the result. It's always the journey. And spiritual practices to strengthen your resilience. You can definitely do meditations and chanting on Saturday. That's Saturn's day. But I'll definitely get into my own story. I just wanted to get this one out first. So, just to recap, Saturn is not a punishment, but a gift of transformation. You should encourage you yourself as well as others people to embrace the lessons, and don't be afraid to reach your highest potential. Okay. Definitely, again, share your Saturn returns if you already had your Saturn return or going through it now, or you feel the energy of Saturn coming. Go ahead and list that information down in the comments. Get a little chat going about Saturn return and what it's done for you. Okay. I actually do offer astrology readings. So if you want to get ahead of your Saturn return, you want to know what to do for you personally, definitely take a look in the description box. My website is available to purchase a astrological reading. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have any comments or questions regarding your Saturn return, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. I'm going to leave those turned on. If this video resonated with you, or you found this video to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to like this video, give this video a thumbs up before you go, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when a new video is dropping. Hit the notification bell so you know when a new video has been released. And again, thank you so much for stopping by, new or returning. All right, and the universe is always guiding you, so stay aligned, stay radiant. Peace.